Question 1. An insurance adjuster is investigating a claim for damages caused by a fire to a commercial property. The policyholder's property is covered under a commercial property policy with a replacement cost provision. The adjuster notes that the cost to replace the property with materials of like kind and quality has increased significantly since the original property was insured. How should the adjuster proceed in calculating the claim? A. The adjuster should apply the actual cash value (SCV) method, which accounts for depreciation. B. The adjuster should apply the replacement cost method without considering depreciation. C. The adjuster should apply the market value method based on the current value of the property. D. The adjuster should apply the depreciated replacement cost method considering the increased replacement cost. Answer. B. Explanation. In a commercial property insurance policy with a replacement cost provision, the adjuster is required to calculate the claim based on the cost to replace the property with materials of like kind and quality without considering depreciation. This method ensures that the policyholder can fully restore their property to its previous condition. Unlike the ACV method, which subtracts depreciation, the replacement cost method does not deduct depreciation even if the replacement cost has increased. The adjuster should ensure that the policyholder receives the full replacement cost as stated in the policy even if it exceeds the original insured value. Question 2. Mr. Carter is an insurance adjuster who is handling a claim for a customer, Mrs. Adams, who has suffered damage to her rental property due to a storm. The policy is a homeowner's policy with a loss of use provision. Mrs. Adams is unable to live in the property while repairs are being made and is renting a temporary apartment. What should Mr. Carter do in this situation? A. Mr. Carter should only reimburse Mrs. Adams for her additional living expenses up to the amount of the policy's loss of use limit. B. Mr. Carter should deny the claim for loss of use since Mrs. Adams did not use the property for business purposes. C. Mr. Carter should only reimburse Mrs. Adams for her temporary living expenses if they exceed the deductible. D. Mr. Carter should allow Mrs. Adams to claim the full amount of loss of use benefits regardless of the actual expenses incurred. Answer. Explanation. The loss of use provision in a homeowner's insurance policy covers additional living expenses incurred by the insured when they are unable to live in their property due to a covered loss. This provision is intended to reimburse the insured for the cost of temporary accommodation, meals, and other necessary living expenses incurred while the property is being repaired. However, these reimbursements are capped by the policy's loss of use limits. Mr. Carter must ensure that the expenses Mrs. Adams incurs for the temporary apartment, meals, and other related expenses are within the specified coverage limits and that they align with the policy's terms. This ensures the claim is handled properly and the policyholder is not overcompensated. Question 3 scenario. Mr. Thomas is a public adjuster who has been hired to handle a claim for damages to a commercial building after a large fire. The building was insured under a replacement cost policy, but the adjuster finds that the fire damage is severe and the cost to rebuild the property is much higher than anticipated. The adjuster is also aware that the policyholder's business operations are temporarily disrupted, resulting in lost income. What should Mr. Thomas do next in order to resolve the claim? A. Mr. Thomas should only file the claim for fire damage and ignore the business interruption loss as the property damage is the primary concern. B. Mr. Thomas should assess the business interruption loss separately and prepare a separate claim for the loss of income caused by the fire. C. Mr. Thomas should deny the business interruption claim since it is unrelated to the fire damage. D. Mr. Thomas should estimate the fire damage using actual cash value and deduct depreciation before filing the claim for business interruption. Answer. B. Explanation. In this scenario, Mr. Thomas is handling a complex claim that involves both property damage and business interruption. When dealing with a commercial property insurance claim, both types of loss need to be considered separately. The property loss should be handled based on the terms of the replacement cost provision in the policy, meaning the adjuster should calculate the cost to rebuild the property, taking into account the most accurate estimates. In addition to the property claim, the business interruption loss needs to be addressed separately as it is covered under the same policy if business interruption coverage is included. Business interruption insurance compensates for the income loss due to the inability to operate the business while the property is being repaired. Mr. Thomas should file a separate claim for the loss of income, ensuring that it is adequately documented and calculated based on the insured's typical revenue and the duration of the disruption. This is crucial for providing the full compensation to the policyholder for all covered losses. Question 4. Which of the following is true regarding the Wisconsin statute of limitations for filing a claim related to property damage? A. A claim for property damage must be filed within 2 years from the date of loss. B. A claim for property damage must be filed within 5 years from the date of loss. C. A claim for property damage must be filed within 3 years from the date of loss. D. A claim for property damage has no statute of limitations in Wisconsin. Answer. See explanation. In Wisconsin, the statute of limitations for filing a claim related to property damage is 3 years from the date of the loss. This means that a claimant must initiate legal action within 3 years after the property damage occurs, or they risk being barred from pursuing the claim. It's important for insurance adjusters to be aware of this statute of limitations to ensure claims are processed in a timely manner. The statute of limitations exists to provide legal certainty and to prevent stale claims from being litigated. Question 5. A homeowner files a claim for roof damage caused by a hailstorm. The policy includes a provision for actual cash value received rather than replacement cost. The adjuster determines that the roof is 10 years old and the depreciation value is 30%. The cost to replace the roof is estimated at $20,000. What is the amount the adjuster should approve for the claim under the ACV method? A. $14,000. B. $20,000. C. $6,000. D. $12,000. Answer A. Explanation. Under the actual cash value (ACV) method, the adjuster calculates the cost to replace the damaged property and then deducts depreciation based on the property's age and condition. In this case, the replacement cost for the roof is $20,000 and the roof is depreciated by 30%. To calculate the ACV, the adjuster must subtract the depreciation from the replacement cost. AE equals replacement cost. Depreciation. AE equals $20,000. 30% of $20,000. AE equals $20,000. $6,000. AE equals $14,000. Therefore, the adjuster should approve $14,000 for the claim. This ensures that the policyholder is compensated for the actual value of the damaged property considering depreciation. Question 6. Scenario. Mr. Evans is an independent adjuster assigned to investigate a commercial vehicle collision involving a truck insured under a general liability policy. The truck's driver caused an accident that damaged another vehicle, resulting in injuries to the other driver. The truck driver was found to be at fault, but Mr. Evans is unsure how to handle the subrogation process. What should Mr. Evans do next? A. Mr. Evans should attempt to settle the claim directly with the injured party without involving the truck driver's insurance. B. Mr. Evans should initiate subrogation by filing a claim with the truck driver's insurer to recover damages on behalf of the injured party. C. Mr. Evans should advise the injured party to file a lawsuit against the truck driver instead of pursuing subrogation. D. Mr. Evans should ignore the subrogation process and only focus on the vehicle damage. Answer. B. Explanation. In the case of a liability claim, subrogation is the process where the insurer seeks reimbursement from the at-fault party's insurer after paying a claim. Mr. Evans, as an independent adjuster, should initiate the subrogation process by contacting the truck driver's insurance company to recover the damages paid to the injured party. The insurer of the at-fault driver, the truck driver in this case, will be responsible for compensating the injured party. Ignoring or bypassing the subrogation process could result in the insurance company losing the opportunity to recover its costs, which would be detrimental to the claim handling process. Question 7. Which of the following is most likely to be covered under a general liability insurance policy for a small business in Wisconsin? A. Injuries to employees while on the job. B. Damage to the business property caused by a fire. C. Injuries to customers while on the business premises. D. Loss of income due to business closure from a storm. Answer. C. Explanation. A general liability insurance policy typically covers third-party bodily injury and property damage claims, including injuries to customers while on the business premises. If a customer slips and falls while visiting a business, for example, the general liability policy would cover the medical expenses and legal costs associated with that injury. However, injuries to employees are generally not covered under general liability insurance. They would be covered under workers' compensation insurance. Similarly, property damage caused by a fire or loss of income from business closure would not be covered by general liability insurance, but rather under property insurance or business interruption insurance, respectively. Question 8. Under the Wisconsin Fair Claims Settlement Practices regulations, which of the following is considered an unfair claims settlement practice? A. The adjuster provides the policyholder with a clear explanation of policy terms before initiating a claim settlement. B. The adjuster delays payment of a claim by more than 30 days without a valid reason. C. The adjuster approves a claim based on the lowest estimate, even if it does not reflect the full scope of the damages. D. The adjuster settles a claim promptly after conducting a reasonable investigation. Answer B. Explanation. According to the Wisconsin Fair Claims Settlement Practices Regulations, an unfair claims settlement practice occurs when an insurance company delays the settlement of a claim without a valid reason. Specifically, delaying payment for more than 30 days without providing a valid explanation to the policyholder is considered unfair. Insurance companies are required to promptly acknowledge and process claims. Any undue delay can harm the policyholder and may lead to penalties for the insurer. The key point is that claims should be settled in a timely manner once the investigation is completed and the terms are clear. Question 9. Which of the following would most likely result in the denial of a claim under a standard homeowners insurance policy in Wisconsin? A. The property damage is caused by a lightning strike. B. The property damage is due to a flood caused by a river overflow. C. The property damage is caused by a fallen tree during a windstorm. D. The property damage is due to a fire caused by electrical wiring failure. Answer B. Explanation. A standard homeowners insurance policy typically excludes coverage for flood damage unless the policyholder has purchased additional flood insurance. Damage caused by a river overflow flooding is not covered under a basic homeowners policy. Flood insurance is generally offered through the National Flood Insurance Program (NFIP) and must be purchased separately. On the other hand, damage caused by lightning strikes, windstorms, and fire resulting from electrical wiring failure are typically covered under standard homeowners insurance policies. Adjusters must check the specific exclusions of the policy to determine the scope of coverage. Question 10. Which of the following would be considered a violation of ethical conduct by an insurance adjuster in Wisconsin? A. An adjuster investigating a claim without obtaining a signed release from the claimant. B. An adjuster reviewing and adjusting claims promptly after receiving the relevant documentation. C. An adjuster conducting an impartial investigation of a claim and offering fair compensation. D. An adjuster disclosing confidential claim information to unauthorized parties without the policyholder's consent. Answer D. Explanation. An insurance adjuster must maintain confidentiality and protect sensitive information regarding a claim. Disclosing confidential information to unauthorized parties without the policyholder's consent is a violation of ethical conduct and can lead to legal consequences. This practice breaches the trust between the adjuster and the policyholder as well as violates privacy laws. Adjusters are bound by professional ethical guidelines, including maintaining confidentiality, ensuring impartiality, and providing fair and prompt service to policyholders. Question 11. Which of the following is NOT typically covered under a standard Wisconsin homeowners policy? A. Theft of personal property. B. Damage from an electrical fire. C. Flood damage caused by a nearby river overflow. D. Vandalism to the home. Answer C. Explanation. Flood damage caused by a nearby river overflow is typically not covered under a standard homeowners policy in Wisconsin or elsewhere. Standard homeowners policies exclude flood coverage, and a separate flood insurance policy must be purchased to cover such risks. Theft of personal property, damage from an electrical fire, and vandalism are generally covered under a standard homeowners policy, assuming no exclusions or specific policy limits are in place. Question 12. Which of the following statements is true about the coinsurance clause ECA property insurance policy? A. It penalizes the policyholder for underinsuring their property. B. It ensures that the insurance company pays the full replacement cost of the property. C. It allows for unlimited coverage if the property is underinsured. D. It eliminates depreciation when calculating the claim payout. Answer A. Explanation. The coinsurance clause in a property insurance policy is designed to encourage policyholders to insure their property for its full replacement value. If the property is underinsured, the policyholder will have to bear a portion of the loss. The formula for calculating the payout under a coinsurance clause is based on the percentage of coverage relative to the required insurance amount. A failure to insure the property to the required amount will result in a penalty when the claim is paid. Question 13. Scenario. A small business owner files a claim for a break-in that resulted in stolen inventory. The owner's policy includes both property damage and business interruption coverage. The adjuster determines that the inventory was damaged during the break-in, but no physical property was damaged. The owner also incurred income losses due to the closure of the store. What type of claim can the adjuster approve? A. Only the property damage claim. B. Only the business interruption claim. C. both property damage and business interruption claims. D. No claims can be approved as the property was not physically damaged. Answer: B. Explanation. Since the inventory was stolen but not physically damaged, the adjuster can approve the business interruption claim if the policy includes coverage for income losses resulting from business closure due to the theft. Property damage would not apply because no physical damage to the business structure or property occurred, but the interruption of business operations qualifies for compensation under business interruption coverage. If both coverages existed in the policy, the adjuster could approve both claims. Question 14. Which of the following best describes a named peril policy? A. A policy that covers all risks except those specifically excluded. B. A policy that covers only the peril specifically listed in the policy. C. The policy that only covers weather-related events. D. A policy that automatically includes flood and earthquake coverage. Answer: B. Explanation. A named peril policy specifically lists the risks or events that are covered by the insurance. If a peril is not listed in the policy, it is not covered. This is in contrast to an all-risk policy which covers all risks except those explicitly excluded. Named peril policies are often used in property insurance where the covered risks might include fire, theft, vandalism, or specific weather events. Question 15. In Wisconsin, what is the minimum coverage required by law for automobile liability insurance? A. $100,000 for bodily injury per person and $300,000 for bodily injury per accident. B. $25,000 for bodily injury per person and $50,000 for bodily injury per accident. C. $50,000 for bodily injury per person and $100,000 for bodily injury per accident. D. $15,000 for bodily injury per person and $30,000 for bodily injury per accident. Answer: D. Explanation. Wisconsin requires a minimum liability coverage of $15,000 for bodily injury per person and $30,000 for bodily injury per accident. This is known as the 1530 rule. Additionally, Wisconsin drivers are required to have $10,000 of property damage coverage. This ensures that drivers can cover some of the costs of accidents they cause, but additional coverage beyond the minimum may be advisable to cover the full extent of potential damages. Question 16. Which of the following is true about replacement cost coverage and property insurance? A. It provides coverage based on the actual value of the property, taking depreciation into account. B. It covers the full cost of replacing damaged property without considering depreciation. C. It only covers the cost of repairing property, not replacing it. D. It is typically cheaper than actual cash value coverage. Answer: B. Explanation. Replacement cost coverage pays the full cost to replace damaged or destroyed property without factoring in depreciation. This type of coverage is preferred by many property owners because it ensures that they can replace their damaged property with new items of like kind and quality. In contrast, actual cash value (SCV) coverage deducts depreciation from the value of the property before calculating the payout. Question 17. Scenario: a contractor completes a home renovation project for a client. The client files a claim for damage to the home caused by faulty work. The contractor's general liability policy covers property damage caused by work errors. However, the adjuster finds that the contractor did not have a valid contract with the client. What is the likely outcome for the claim? A. The claim will be denied because the contractor lacked a valid contract. B. The claim will be approved because the contractor's work caused property damage. C. The contractor's insurance policy will automatically cover the claim regardless of the contract. D. The client will be required to file a lawsuit before the insurance company processes the claim. Answer: A. Explanation. If the contractor did not have a valid contract with the client, the claim may be denied. Insurance policies often require that work be done under a valid contract to protect against claims. Without a formal agreement in place, the insurer may argue that there was no clear understanding between the parties, leading to potential complications or the denial of the claim. In many cases, written contracts are necessary for clarity and protection for both parties involved. Question 18. Which of the following is typically excluded under a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Theft of personal property. B. Earthquake damage. C. Fire damage. D. Water damage from a burst pipe. Answer: B. Explanation. Earthquake damage is generally excluded from a standard homeowner's insurance policy. Homeowners who live in areas prone to earthquakes are often advised to purchase additional earthquake insurance to cover the costs of damage caused by seismic activity, fire damage, theft of personal property, and water damage from a burst pipe. typically covered under standard homeowners insurance policies subject to policy limits and specific exclusions. Question 19. What is the main purpose of liability coverage in an auto insurance policy? A. To cover medical expenses for the policyholder's injuries. B. To cover the costs of vehicle repairs after an accident. C. To protect the policyholder from financial loss if they are at fault in an accident that injures others or damages property. D. To cover the cost of replacing the policyholder's stolen vehicle. Answer. C. Explanation. Liability coverage in an auto insurance policy is designed to protect the policyholder from financial loss if they are at fault in an accident that results in injuries to others or damages to other people's property. It typically includes two types of coverage: bodily injury liability for injuries to others and property damage liability for damages to others' property. This coverage does not pay for the policyholder's own injuries or vehicle repairs. Those would be covered by other types of insurance. Question 20. Which of the following is the primary function of an insurance adjuster during a claim investigation? A. To provide legal advice to the policyholder. B. To determine the validity and value of the claim and recommend a settlement. C. To offer financial assistance to the policyholder in their time of need. D. To represent the policyholder's interests during a claim dispute. Answer. B. Explanation. The primary function of an insurance adjuster is to investigate the claim, assess the damages, and determine the validity and value of the claim. The adjuster gathers evidence, interviews relevant parties, and reviews the policy to provide a recommendation for settlement. The adjuster's goal is to ensure that the claim is handled fairly and in accordance with the policy terms. The adjuster does not provide legal advice or financial assistance to the policyholder, nor do they represent the policyholder's interests in legal disputes. Question 21. Which of the following is generally NOT included in a standard automobile insurance policy? A. Liability coverage. B. Collision coverage. C. Comprehensive coverage. D. Flood damage coverage. Answer. D. Explanation. Flood damage is typically not covered under a standard automobile insurance policy. While collision and comprehensive coverage are part of standard policies, they do not usually include coverage for specific events like flooding. Comprehensive coverage may cover certain types of water damage, but flood-specific coverage is typically excluded and would need to be purchased separately or as part of a specialized policy. Question 22. Which of the following best describes a no-fault insurance system? A. The person at fault for the accident is responsible for all repair costs. B. The insurance company will cover the damages to both parties regardless of fault. C. Each driver's own insurance pays for their damages regardless of fault. D. The driver without insurance is held responsible for the accident. Answer. C. Explanation. In a no-fault insurance system, each driver's own insurance company covers their damages, regardless of who is at fault for the accident. This system is designed to reduce litigation costs and speed up the claims process, ensuring that injured parties receive compensation more quickly. It does not eliminate the possibility of suing for damages in certain cases, but it limits the circumstances under which a lawsuit can occur. Question 23. Scenario. A business owner has a commercial property insurance policy. The business suffers damage to its roof after a major storm, but the policy only covers the building and contents, not the exterior structure. The owner also has an additional rider for roof repairs. What will the insurer most likely cover? A. The roof repairs under the basic commercial property policy. B. The building and contents under the commercial property policy, but not the roof. C. The roof repairs as part of the policy's standard coverage. D. Only the roof repairs under the rider, not the building and contents. Answer. B. Explanation. In this case, the insurer is likely to cover the building and contents, but the roof repairs would likely fall under the rider for roof repairs rather than the standard coverage. Since the policy only covers the building and contents and the roof is an exterior structure, coverage would need to be extended by the rider. The rider typically adds specific protections not included in the basic policy. Question 24. What does actual cash value perceived insurance cover? A. The cost to replace damaged property without depreciation. B. The cost to repair or replace damaged property minus depreciation. C. The full market value of the property, including sentimental value. D. The cost to replace damaged property at current market prices. Answer. B. Explanation. Actual cash value (ACV) coverage reimburses the policyholder for the cost to repair or replace damaged property, but it deducts depreciation. Depreciation is the decrease in value of the property over time due to wear and tear or age. This type of coverage is typically cheaper than replacement cost coverage, which reimburses the policyholder for the full replacement cost without factoring in depreciation. Question 25. Which of the following is a common exclusion in a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Water damage from a burst pipe. B. Fire damage. C. Mold damage. D. Theft of personal property. Answer. C. Explanation. Mold damage is commonly excluded in standard homeowners insurance policies, while water damage from a burst pipe, fire damage, and theft of personal property are typically covered. Mold damage is often excluded unless it is caused by a covered event like a burst pipe. Some policies may offer optional coverage for mold, but it is generally not included by default. Question 26. Under which of the following circumstances would a personal injury protection (PIP) policy typically be used? A. The insured is at fault in a car accident and wants to repair their vehicle. B. The insured is injured in a car accident and needs medical treatment, regardless of fault. C. The insured's car is damaged by hail and they want to file a claim. D. The insured is responsible for property damage caused to another driver in a car accident. Answer. B. Explanation. Personal injury protection (PIP) insurance is designed to cover medical expenses and other related costs for the insured and their passengers, regardless of who is at fault in an accident. PIP may cover medical bills, lost wages, and other necessary expenses resulting from an accident. It is often required in no-fault insurance states. Question 27. Which of the following is an example of underinsurance? A. Having the right amount of coverage for a new home. B. Insuring a property for less than its replacement cost value. C. Having coverage for both property damage and bodily injury. D. Using a standard insurance policy for a rental property. Answer. B. Explanation. Underinsurance occurs when a policyholder does not have sufficient coverage to fully replace or repair their property in the event of a loss. For example, insuring a property for less than its replacement cost value can lead to underinsurance. This is particularly problematic if the policyholder suffers a significant loss, as they may not receive enough compensation to fully restore their property. Question 28. What is the primary purpose of umbrella insurance? A. To provide coverage for damages not covered by other policies. B. To extend the coverage limits of standard insurance policies. C. To provide coverage for personal property damage. D. To cover health expenses not covered by other medical insurance. Answer. B. Explanation. Umbrella insurance is designed to provide additional coverage beyond the limits of standard policies, such as auto or homeowners insurance. It helps protect against large claims or lawsuits that could exceed the coverage limits of basic policies. This type of insurance is often used to cover liability claims that may arise from accidents or other events. Question 29. What is typically covered under comprehensive auto insurance? A. Damage to the insured's car caused by a collision with another vehicle. B. Damage to the insured's car caused by a storm, vandalism, or animal collision. C. Injuries to passengers in the insured's vehicle during a crash. D. Theft of the insured's vehicle. Answer. B. Explanation. Comprehensive auto insurance covers damage to the insured's vehicle caused by non-collision incidents such as storms, vandalism, or collisions with animals. It does not cover damages caused by a collision with another vehicle, which is covered by collision insurance. Theft of the insured vehicle is also typically covered under comprehensive insurance. Question 30. Which of the following is the typical purpose of loss of use coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy? A. To cover the cost of replacing stolen property. B. To reimburse the policyholder for living expenses if the home becomes uninhabitable due to a covered loss. C. To cover medical expenses for injuries that occur on the property. D. To cover the cost of repairing personal property after damage. Answer. B. Explanation. Loss of use coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy provides reimbursement for living expenses if the policyholder's home becomes uninhabitable due to a covered event, such as fire or water damage. This coverage helps the policyholder pay for temporary housing, meals, and other necessary living expenses while their home is being repaired or rebuilt.